Yeah, yeah. Hey, ain't God we trust.
Hey, ain't God we trust.
Hey, who got the faith?
Hey, you got the faith.
Yeah, I got the faith. Do you got the faith?
Yeah, I got the faith.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ain't God we trust.
Hey, ain't God we trust.
Keep that faith in your head high. Yeah. Hey, ain't God we trust. What do you think?
Hey, what do you think?
Not talking to money, I'm talking to God that be keeping me straight.
He keeping me
This life
straight.
could be gone in a blink. Was living with nothing and no kitchen sink. Shower water came from tears and whenever it rained. Out of Dodge, living in a Dodge. And the only thing I had was faith. I was worried about the repo. I was living in a sinkhole. Looking at others and how they was living their life was the secret like Brink's Code or Victoria. We living in war times, but I always had with me the heart of a warrior. So I never quit. And I had to live in that deficit. But nothing's indefinite. So I pick up my head and I changed on my etiquette. Keep my faith high, it was evident. Not worry about physical, I'm still alive, that's the evidence. He built me up, so I'm never breaking down easy like sediment. I'm relaxed as a sedative. Is you learning your lesson yet? This right here is my testament. What do you think?
Hey, what do you think?
I'm counting the blessing before I count money. It's part of the rank.
It's part of the rank.
Hit my heart with a stake, cause I'm a wolf. I'm howling at moons. Holy Ghost, he didn't enter the room, but holy smokes. I had overdose, but I opened my eyes and it's all up to him.
Hello everyone, welcome to day 4 or 3, depends on how you count it. Welcome to another stream where we build an AI agent with me, season 3. How are you all doing today? Happy Holi to everyone who's celebrating. Yay! It's Holi in India and it is almost Holi in Seattle. What is everybody's Holi plans? Does anybody have any Holi party they're going to? Hi Dee Thompson! Danny's in the house! How's it going? Hi Tanish, Chinmay, Kushal, that guy Eddie, how are you all doing? Oh, by the way, for those of you who don't know what Holi is, you're like, what are these people saying? Holi is an Indian festival of colors where we put colors on each other's face, throw colors at each other, and celebrate the triumph of good over evil, like most Indian festivals. But why I love Holi is because it is a time to get together with your friends and celebrate with your family and throw water balloons at each other and put colors on each other. I'm gonna share a picture of playing Holi. Holi is like one of the most fun Hindu festivals, just like Diwali. I feel like these are the two main festivals of one of the biggest festivals of Hindus, and it's one of the festivals that I definitely used to enjoy a lot as kid, especially playing Holi in India. I have also played Holi in the US in San Francisco Bay Area at Stanford. But Holi in India is crazy. And I am gonna share Holi with you. Like OG Holi. And you can play this in your at your own time, so I don't get copyrighted. What are you breaking now? Hi, how's it going? It's so good to see you. Hi Hitesh, how's it going? I know it sounds like so much fun, and it is so much fun. I sent a video in the chat, and this is kind of like the OG Holi song. You gotta watch it. This is how Holi should be celebrated. Okay, what are we doing today? What are we doing today? Homer, what's up? What's good? Am I gonna see you at a conference this year, Homer? I'm actually going to Epic Web conference, and I'm going to be talking about building an accessible web app, and I'm so excited about it. Hey, Devon, how's it going?
What's up with the static one?
Wait, who's talking?
There you go.
You'll be at Renda. Oh, nice, fun.
Yeah. I got some sinister ways dealing with sinister things.
This music is creeping me out. I know, CYC, gotta do it. Commit your code. Let's do it, Danny. Let's do it. I'm so down. So down. Okay, you know what we have to do? The first thing we have to do before we even get started is do a poll. So, I have a mundane poll for you today. I love doing these polls in my newsletter, and I always get like really fun responses. So I'm gonna do one of my newsletters mundane poll. Okay, hold on. Actually, because it is Holi, we gotta do this. Let's do this. If you're watching this anywhere outside of YouTube, come on down to YouTube so you can participate in this poll. This is today's poll. Actually, it's gonna be one of many polls today. So, okay, yes and no. Start poll. Okay, here's a question for you. Have you ever celebrated Holi? Yes or no? How was your meetup, Danny? This is pretty late, isn't it? Where are you, in Central Time or are you in Eastern Time? What time is it where you are, Danny? You must be in Eastern Time, I think. The meetup ended so late because of the parking lot conversations. That's awesome. It's midnight now. Okay, you're in Central in Texas. That went pretty long. But that's great though. That means it was a great meetup. This music is gonna put me to sleep. Oh, you know what kind of music we like? Rock. 7 speakers, wow. That's crazy. Put on my music. Let me find your music. I hope you're not gonna get me copyright slaps. Todd. Not Todd, Homer. Wait, where can I find your music, Homer? I see that there's music on your YouTube channel. Can I put it on? I know, don't copyright strike me. Okay, here we go. Just 'cause we love you, Homer. This is Homer's music, you guys. Right? My head started bobbing right away too. It's so like low and mellow, and I love this vibe. Homer, you gotta make some music for me. At least music I can use. It's music to chord to. Yeah. It's so good. Oh, really? Okay. Are you sure? I'm definitely gonna use. I'm gonna use and I'm gonna link your YouTube channel or SoundCloud or whatever you want me to link. I love this music. It's very like. I love this. Hunar, how's it going? Welcome back. It's been a long time. Like 3 days. YouTube or Spotify works. Perfect. Let's put you on the map. I'm sure you're already on the map. Let's put you on the tech map. Alright, folks, what are we working on today? Let me shut my windows. I got too much private content in here. Okay. Just about to eat bhindi masala. Chris DeMars always plays my music before he speaks at a conference. Really? You know what? Just this morning I got an email from Epic Web asking for a walk-up music. And I was thinking what I want to play. But now I know what I want to play. Some sick beats, Homer. Okay, let's get this one.
I used to spend dozens of hours every single week.
Not the ad. Okay, what are we building today? Did it snow at all for you, Shruti? It snowed like 10 minutes and it is supposed to snow early morning. Are you serious? No, it didn't snow at all for us. I mean, it got pretty cold here this night, but it did not snow. Happy Holi, happy Dulati. What is Dulati? Happy Holi, Aditya. And happy Holi, Akash Gupta. I hope you are having a beautiful and wonderful Holi. I hope you're having a stress-free Holi. I hope the colors come off you. Okay, what are we building today? First of all, okay, how are we doing on the poll? How many people know what Holi is? 50% people know and have celebrated Holi, and 50% haven't. Okay, if you are joining me for the first time, please say first. If you have been joining us over this last 30 days, rather, if you've ever joined this stream before, tell me you have been here before. Tell me you are a seasoned viewer. You're an OG. And I see my OGs here. Hunar, Aditya, Danny first-ish. I know you, Danny, you were actually one of the first. You were there in the first season, and you were one of the first few viewers on this stream. So I appreciate you, Danny. I've been here before. First time as always. Every day is a first time. Okay, so I see that there are a few first time people, and then there's people who've been here before. The reason why I'm asking this is because it'll tell me how deep to go in this demo and how much recap to do. So if you've been here before, tell me you've been here before. You totally know what I'm talking about. But if you're here for the first time, tell me first, so I know how much detail to go into. People are appreciating you too. Podcast episode has been doing really well, especially on the feedback. You know, I have been seeing that podcast everywhere now, and it is so wonderful to see. Like, it pops up in my reels, it pops up on my YouTube shorts, and I'm like, yay, Danny! It pops up on my LinkedIn all the time. Okay, I better open my code editor before I forget what I'm supposed to do today. First time found you through Danny's podcast, actually. Look at that! How wonderful is this? Like, the creator and the viewers are all together in this community. How awesome is that? Okay, I'm loving that 58% people have celebrated Holi. Danny, you're too kind. But gotta send some hearts. I gotta send some hearts. Thank you, Danny. Hold on, Homer, I thought this was your music, but it's actually not your music. Somebody else's music started playing. I gotta play some Homer music. There we go. Some Homer music. That track is my personal playlist. Oh, you know what? I think that playlist might be public, that's why. You guys, if you like chill lo-fi vibes, you gotta check out Homer's playlist, Homer's channel. Homer is the one who's made this music. So here is, Homer is, by the way, X circle. How do you say this word? I don't know how to say this word. Homer is circle in this chat. Homer, identify yourself. Circle, right? Why is there an X in there? I always wonder. because I like to play with phonetics. Nice. Let me get my code up and running. Any RAG course, please suggest, or books. I am a MERN next dev and I want to build an application to generate questions based on some PDF data using RLM. Ooh, you know what? I came across this video series on data stacks about RAG. Okay, here it is. And I'm going to share this with you. Actually, one of my favorite talks on RAG was done by Tejas Kumar from DataStax. And I think just the way Tejas explains concepts is super intuitive, and it's very easy to click the way he explains it. Tejas works at DataStax. Here it is. Oh, there it is. I found his talk.
If you're creating content that stands out, you want
Any talk by Tejas or any videos by Tejas, I absolutely love. And this is one of his videos. Build a RAG app in under 20 minutes with data stacks.
not looking for just music. You are looking for great music.
So check that out. Okay, let's get into it. Localhost 3000. Get my app running. Alrighty, so for those of you who've been here before, I assigned everybody some homework. Look at me being a teacher. I assigned everybody some homework. Who remembers what work we were supposed to do and who has done it? And like, no punishment if you haven't. I just want to know how much detail I should go into, how much of recap I need to do. And meanwhile, I'm going to get my local host running. Okay, end poll and a new poll. My dog ate my homework. Classic Homer. Classic Homer. Okay, did you do your agentic homework? And it's totally okay if you want to say no. That's totally fine. I just want to see if I need to do a recap or if you all remember. Okay, here's a new poll for you. Did you do your agentic homework? Yes or no? While you answer that, I'm also going to get my app running. Git branch. Wow, what is all this? CD. Okay, most people are saying no. I want to see one yes at least. Tell me that somebody has done the homework. I wish there was a way to like hand out like stars. That would be so cool. Time to go, gotta eat. Go enjoy your bhindi masala, Honor. It's totally okay if you haven't done homework. That's totally fine. Okay, npm run dev, and I'm gonna get my local host here as well, and then share my screen in just 1 second. Oh, localhost 5173. I would like stars. BRB doing agentic homework. Do it! Do you think deploying MERN or Next is more expensive, and can I just deploy it in hosting a VPC or using Run and serving? You can deploy any app on Netlify for free. Netlify is actually what I use for deploying most of my applications. Even my homepage is on Netlify. Okay. Settings. Okay. All of my personal projects are on Netlify. Same. I used to have GitHub until I came to know about Netlify, and now everything is on Netlify. Alright folks, I see that most people, actually 100% of the people haven't done homework, which is totally fine, like I said. So let's talk about the topic for today. Today we're going to build an agentic AI. Now, how many of you know what agentic AI is? Agents in AI. How many of you know what agents are? Let's do a poll again. What was the homework? What a great question. Don't worry about it. I will share what we need to do so we can do it together. Now, here's a question. Are you familiar with agents in AI? And again, yes or no. And again, if you're watching this on anywhere but YouTube, you won't be able to add your option or your vote. So come on down to YouTube so you can vote. So now the question is, are you familiar with agents in AI? 2 people have said yes. Awesome. Beautiful. And if you're not familiar with agents in AI, that's, again, totally fine. I have been sharing my notes on agents in AI, so I'm going to quickly open that up so I can share that with you. Okay, so are you familiar with agents in AI? Have you even if you've heard of agents in AI, that can still qualify as a yes. So let me know, have you heard of agents in AI? Have you ever used agents in AI? Have you wanted to use agents in AI? Or is agent like completely new concept to you? You've never worked with agents. Let me know that as well. I see that 100% of the votes are yes, which is awesome. Okay, let me share my screen now. For an agent to be useful, the data must be accessible. Yeah. Hashtag accessibility. Hashtag inclusive web. Okay, I kind of understand. Okay, I see that most people haven't voted, which makes me feel that you're reluctant to say no, which is totally fine. So I'm going to go over what are agents in AI. Let me open my notes. Okay, let's share screen. Alrighty, so this is going to be a lot of text for most people. I'm just gonna zoom this in. Okay, so let's talk about what is an agent. I think to explain what is an agent, it is helpful to understand agent. I think to understand what is an agent, it's helpful to understand agent like your five. So what I'm going to do is explain agent like your five. So imagine that you go to a library and you are in search for a fiction book, and you ask the librarian to fetch you a book, like a fiction book, a book that you can finish in 2 hours. A book that you can finish in a month. And you also tell the librarian that you have like 1 month to finish the book. So basically, you are giving the librarian an open-ended goal, which is to find you a fiction book. But there are a lot of different questions in this, which is what kind of fiction books do you like? What is your age? So they have to find you age-appropriate books. Also, what kind of fiction books would be appropriate to finish within a month? And so based on that, the librarian goes to the catalog, looks up some books that are recommended on Goodreads, finds out or asks you what kind of books you like, so they can suggest you books based on that. And based on all of those recommendations, and by looking up on the internet and finding out the books that are available in the library right now, they come and fetch you a book which is something that you're able to finish within a month, within the time frame that you've given them, and is a fiction book, and is something that's already available on the library shelf, so she can come and fetch it for you. Now, this librarian in this case is an agent. So what she did here was she was able to take the goal that you were given with the constraints that you have given, or with the task that you are given, which is need to be finished, like needs to be a fiction. Those are the requirements. It needs to be finished within a month. That is another requirement. And then your preferences are that it should align with some of the books that you've already read. So this is likely something you would like. And also it should be one of the highly recommended books on Goodreads. So, you're reading a well-recommended book. Now, the agent or the librarian here, who's acting as the agent, has to do the job of figuring out what is your preference, what is your is that an
Showcase
ad?
them dynamically and seamlessly track your inventory. Accept multiple secure payments and design your storefront down to the very
Thank you, distracting ad. So the agent has to do the job of figuring out. Turn the music down a bit. Oh, yeah. So the agent has to do the job of figuring out, like, what are these constraints, and based on your preferences, she has to find a book that fits your recommendations. Now, it's possible that she fetches you a book and you say, well, I've already read this book. Then she goes back, takes that feedback in, goes back and finds another book. And it's possible that the next book she finds, you're like, well, I don't like this book. So she takes that feedback in and then continues to iterate over it until she finds a book that is perfect for you. Now, this is a case of an agent taking feedback from the user, or from the task, or from the tools, and figuring out an optimal solution given the constraints, given the tools, given the feedback loop. So the librarian here is an agent. Now, a common question is, what is LLM and how is it different from agent? So the library catalog that she's looking for, that is the LLM. That is the data that she's trained on. That is the static data that she knows, has access to. That is the LLM. Another question is, what are tools in this? In this case, tools would be her looking up Goodreads, or Goodreads would be a tool that she has access to. Goodreads, if you don't know, is a very popular peer book review website. So she can look up stuff on Goodreads or Reddit or whatever. So that is a tool that she has access to. She could also have access to your prior reading history, which could also be a tool that she has access to gain feedback from it. And the fact that she can ask you and get user feedback, that is also part of the feedback loop. Another question is that is commonly asked is what is RAG and how is it different from agentic AI? So RAG is actually, before I talk about RAG, another common question is a typically question is asked like how do you know it's an agent and how do you know that this workflow is agentic? So our goal with agents is that it is able to autonomously figure out a goal and take action while incorporating feedback, and it can use tools while doing that. Whereas a non-agentic workflow is like a zero shot approach. So for example, one of the examples that Andrew Ning, damn, I should really learn how to say his last name. I don't know how to say his last name. Andrew Ning? I think it's Ning. But anyways, the godfather of ML, I think you all know who I'm talking about. One of the examples that he has given is that, let's say with ChatGPT, you ask it to create an essay and you say, I'm writing an essay for, I'm writing a video script for YouTube on creating an agents. Create an outline for me. So in one shot, it's creating an outline for you without waiting for your feedback or without waiting to think about what the outline looks like and getting feedback from you. So it's from zero to end non-stop. It's a zero shot workflow. That is a non-agentic workflow. Whereas with agentic workflow, typically the AI LLM, the LLM will give an answer, wait for feedback, think about it, have maybe multiple chain of thoughts or tree of thought, which it is called. Figure out each of those approaches, figure out the best result possible, take that into account, incorporate more feedback, and refine it as it goes. And the main part about that is the feedback component and the cyclic workflow that is part of it. So instead of like write an essay and just don't stop until the essay is written, it writes a little bit, gives it to you for review. Then once you comment on it, once you give more feedback, it takes that into account, writes another draft, waits for the feedback, and so on. So it's creating a more feedback driven approach with a goal in mind, which is to create an outline that may be engaging for the users. That is the difference between agentic workflow and non-agentic workflow. Now, in episode 1 and 2 of this season, by the way, this is season 3 of building a web app with me on these live streams. In season 1, we built an AI app. We built a real estate AI app that was able to generate recommendations based on a property that a user likes. However, it was a single shot approach. You like a property, we'll show you more properties like that. We don't care very much about how you like the next property, like the feedback isn't really taken into account. With agents, you're able to take feedback from the user and also figure out other constraints that the user has. For example, I could say something like, I am looking for an apartment which has a good walkability score. Now, what is good walkability score? It could be a really high score in New York, Manhattan, whereas in like a suburb, it could be a really low score, yet it is still a good walkability score for that location. So the agent needs to figure out first thing, what is a good walkability score, which is like how easier it is to get around town without having to drive anywhere. And then for the location or the apartment that it's about to recommend you, what is a good walkability score and will that score match the user's preference? And by taking into that feedback or also maybe likes and dislikes from the user, it's able to create better and better recommendations. So in season 1, we built a recommendation system, zero shot approach. In season 3, which is this season, we're going to build an agent to make that recommendation system better. So we can tell the agent that I'm looking for a good walkability score or a place which is close to restaurants. And the agent is going to be able to figure out and give me suggestions based on the constraints that I've given it. I'm so excited to build this because this is going to be really cool. And this is going to make finding a real estate or finding a house or an apartment or even for rent much easier. Now, in episode 1 and 2, we actually talked about what are agents, and whatever I just described to you, we talked about in more detail. I shared some of my notes and we talked about some of the lecture series that are super helpful, some of the design patterns of agents. If you missed that episode, don't worry, it's already linked on my playlist, like this same playlist. that you're watching. I'm actually going to share that playlist as well in case you don't have access to it, or in case you don't have the link. But that all of that information will also be coming out as a YouTube video in like less than 24 hours. YouTube playlist. But if you missed any of this, this is going to be part of this playlist as well. Here's the playlist. So in episode 2, which was broadcasted on Tuesday, we talked about how we're going to build an agent. And I'm going to show you documentation now of what we're going to do. So I think I wrote this down somewhere. Okay, let me share my notes now. Screen share. I'm gonna get some music running as well. Some lo-fi. Okay, let me know if the music is too loud. I'm gonna move the mic closer to me. Okay, if the music is too loud, please let me know. But here is in Andrew Ng. Andrew Ng, that's how you say it, right? Okay, but here is a here is the essay example that I was talking about, which I really like this. The slide that Andrew has shared. So here in agentic AI, a non-agentic workflow is when you say, please type out an essay on topic X from start to finish in one go without using backspace. So ChatGPT starts writing from start to finish, it doesn't stop. Whereas with agentic workflow, it's kind of like a cyclical loop. You write, you think about it, you research some topics, you figure out the gaps, then you revise it based on the output, you get feedback, and it's a cyclical process, so you can make a better result. So you say something like, write an essay outline on topic X. Do you need to do any web research to fill out gaps? And if you do, go ahead and do the research. And with that information, write the first draft. Get feedback from the user. Consider what parts need revision or more search. Revise your draft, and so on. Now, there is also a question about like agentic AI. And fully autonomous agents. Now the goal is to get to fully autonomous agents. Here is another. This is Tina Huang. Her YouTube channel is awesome for AI stuff as well. Highly recommended. But here is how it's defined. A non-agentic workflow is kind of one-pass execution, right? No adjustments are needed or are made. You just go ahead. With agentic workflow, you have like a feedback loop. And it's usually based on human guidance, or it could be some tools as well. And so you have this kind of like human in the loop with agentic workflow. Now our goal with agents is to be truly autonomous in the sense that the tool itself or the agent itself figures out what are some gaps, what are some possible improvements it can make, and it adjusts it dynamically. Adaptive decision making, and it's fully independent. It determines the steps, determines the weakness, determines the feedback needed, and automatically fixes itself. That is an autonomous AI agent, and that is the goal with agents. Not all agents are fully autonomous. So it is said that the workflow is agentic, meaning there is some form of human intervention in there. It's not fully autonomous. If someone is beginner, how can they follow season 3 without watching 1 and 2? That is a great question. I'm going to have a video coming out by tomorrow, which talks about what is agent, and that is going to be a great prep video for you if you have not watched season 1 or 2. But also in every live stream, I do kind of this poll, which is like, tell me how many of you have been watching this for a long time, or if you're a seasoned developer, or like if you're a seasoned viewer. And if you're not, then I do a recap. So even if you haven't watched season 1 and 2 before this, you will be totally fine here. Happy Holi, Uday. Agents, AI talk bunch of LLMs. LLMs give answers on one shot, no iterations. Is that correct? So LLMs would be kind of like the knowledge base that agent is referencing, is kind of built upon. Agent is the one that is accessing this LLM, and it could be accessing a bunch of different tools as well. And agent is kind of like this executor that does operations based on information received from LLM. So LLM would be like your knowledge base, and agent is kind of the librarian here in that example, which is performing a task. So hope that makes sense. Okay. So then there is like this design patterns we talked about, red turtles, paint murals. This is again Tina Huang. Her video is awesome. But I talk about all of this in the video as well. So if you haven't checked it out, or if you haven't watched episode 1 and 2, that video will be super helpful. But I think I wrote down. Okay, here is what I was talking about, which is like a prereq. If you have not watched anything about agents, or this is the first time you're hearing about agents, this is a prereq what you would that you would need. JavaScript, of course, because we're going to be using JavaScript. LangChain, which is a framework for integrating with a model. You could use any sort of model, OpenAI, Claude. For our example, we're going to be using OpenAI. And then OpenAI is the LLM provider. Convex actually is the sponsor of this live stream, but also it is the database that we're going to be using to store our vector information. Convex is super useful because they have a bunch of tools that are already built in, like vector search, which we were actually able to use in season 1. And we were able to generate recommendations by just calling one function. So it was super easy to determine which property is similar to another property. So we're going to continue using Convex for this. Now, there are some terms that is helpful to know. LLMs and models, we talked about this. Prompts, I think most of you might be familiar with this. If not, any of these do not make sense, please feel free to comment down and let me know. And I'll be happy to explain that. And I'm also going to do a quick check to see 56% are familiar with agents, awesome, and 44% are new to agent, which is also great. Beautiful. I'm going to take a quick pause here and see if there are any questions. Last question, how LLM is she? Is that a joke? I don't understand. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm going to get this app running. But actually, today, we're going to talk about LangChain. Specifically, I think this might be, don't know. Okay, have you ever used LangChain, by the way? And now you can just say yes or no in the chat to let me know. And if you're watching this on anything except YouTube, you are totally welcome to say yes or no as well, because I'm going to be watching the chat. So have you ever used LangChain? Say yes or no. Nope. Okay, cool. Nope. No worries. Could you please share your Discord channel here? Oh yeah, the Discord channel is actually linked right here. Here. If you see where I'm pointing. So that's actually a good reminder. I should probably talk about all the links. All of this data, all of this videos are going to be available on my YouTube. So if you're watching this anywhere outside of YouTube, the YouTube channel is right here. Join on YouTube, Shruti Kapoor 08. And then the Discord is here, bit.ly/Shruti Discord. And also the newsletter through which I send This week's newsletter is going to be really fun because I'm going to be talking about TypeScript to Go conversion, TypeScript's conversion to Go. Then I also have 3 React updates. One of them is going to be use context, and I know that a lot of people have questions about context API and use context hook. So I'm going to be talking about that in this week's newsletter, which you can sign up using bit.ly/Shruti-newsletter. Also, something that I'm really excited to share is a free resource that I've put together, through which I've combined like all of the 10 years of React experience I have, and it is actually a free book for preparing React interviews. React interview guide, which you can get through this link, and it's completely free. I'm super happy to share this. And then again, if you have feedback about any of this, I would love to know. If there's any question that you feel like I missed in the React interview guide that you would love to see, let me know. Okay, how many people are new to LangChain? Most people are new to LangChain. Okay, so LangChain actually is a kind of like a framework it is a framework built on top of models that you can use to integrate with models. The reason I and most people love using LangChain or a framework like LangChain is because instead of integrating with a separate like OpenAI or like Claude and like having to integrate with those APIs, you can just call LangChain within your it's available as an npm package, so you can call it within your JavaScript repo, and it makes these APIs available to you, like OpenAI LLMs available to you, without having to actually integrate with OpenAI or without having to integrate with Claude. And one of the cool things about using LangChain as opposed to directly integrating with OpenAI or Claude is that if you change your model, it's super easy to do that. You just need to provide a new OpenAI, like the model's API key, and you're good to go, which is awesome because it's kind of like an orchestration on top of these like lower level LLMs. And so you just worry about creating your code. You don't have to worry about that interaction. LangChain takes care of it for you, which is why I love LangChain. Now, why I'm talking about LangChain is because the agent that we're going to be using is going to be created with LangChain. Now I'm going to go into LangGraph actually, which is their recommended way of creating a LangChain. So here, of creating an agent. So here in the headline itself, it says balance agent control with agency. And basically, LangGraphs are used to create an agent. Do you know about AI React by Versal? I guess, yeah. I've been using LangChain for a long time, and honestly, I've had like really good experience with it. But it is on my to-do list to check out AI SDK by Versal. Okay, I'm trying to find the link that I had shared the other day about setting up an agent. Oh, there it is, JS docs. Oh, there it is. Learn the basics, actually. That's where it is. I'm going to share this link in the blog post as well. Is this background music copyright free? Yes, this one is. I hope it's not too loud though. Okay, here is the LangChain tutorial that I shared in the last episode. And I'm going to put that link down here for anybody who wants to explore this afterwards. But the homework that I gave, and why I'm sharing this is because I want to talk about the homework. But the homework that I gave is, this is what you need to set up before you can get an agent running. So you need Node.js version 18 or newer. You need a Tavily account. And the reason we are using Tavily is because it's kind of like, it's actually the tool that does web search for you. So we can use Tavily to like look up on google.com or like, or in our case, walkability score. So Tavily does the job of web searching for us. So remember we talked about LLM, which is the static code, static knowledge base that agent has access to. Then on top of it, it has other tools. And these tools could be web search. These tools could be like calculator. These tools could be like databases, API, anything extra that you need, that you need to provide the LLM to have, or like the agent to have extra information. Those are going to be part of the tools. And tools can also be things that the agent can use to perform actions. For our case, Tavily is that thing which is going to be helpful for the tool to learn about, to help search on the web. And then OpenAI developer platform account and API key, which is the LLM that we're using. So that's why we need this. So in order to set up an agent, these are the three basic things we need. Now I was able to get this up and running, and I got all of that set up in my repo. And after the end of this live stream, I'm going to commit the code to this as well, so you can. Hold on, let me see what's in tsconfig and maybe I can commit this code. Done. Oh. Config. Okay, this is fine. I'm gonna add all of this stuff. So if you are using this GitHub repo, you can have access to it. I added a new branch in the repo called agent, and all of the agent work is going to be in that repo. Okay. Alrighty, so let's talk about what is needed in this. The other thing you need is LangChain, and you need LangGraph and OpenAI and that stuff. So which is super easy to set up. But here's how you set up an agent in using LangGraph. We talked about Tavily, right? I hope this code is big enough. Actually, I'm gonna demonstrate that here. Okay, so we talked about Tavily, which is what we need to look up Google, like web search results. Can I build? Yes, you can build. Let me share this GitHub repo. So this is actually going to be in the agent branch, but I'm going to give you access to the GitHub repo. And this is a public repo. And this is the agent branch. Let me just make sure I didn't actually I didn't. Okay. For a second there, I thought I pushed my API keys, but I didn't. Alrighty. Oh yeah. I'm going to move this over and I'm going to talk about the code in here. All right, so we talked about Tavily, which is what we need, and then everything else, don't worry about it for now, but just remember that Tavily is what we're using to do the web search, and that is the tool we're using. So the first thing we do is we define what is the agent tool we're going to be using, and that's going to be Tavily, right? Then the agent model, this is where you can define like OpenAI, or you can use Chat Anthropic or whatever you want. So we're going to use OpenAI. And then the next thing we do is memory saver, is initialize a memory. So what is memory? So there are two types of memory for agents. There's short-term memory and there's long-term memory. Short-term memory is kind of like the contextual information that the agent has. Like in ChatGPT, if you remember, you send a message and then you send another message and you send another message. It remembers what you're talking about, kind of has context of the messages you're sending. But then after like 6th or 7th message, it'll start to forget. So that is the context, how much context it has over your messages. That is short-term memory. Then long-term memory is when an agent has access to putting data in a vector store and it can use it for fast retrieval of data. That is, both of those are part of memory. LangGraph actually gives you access to memory itself, so you can put that for contextual information, and that is what we're doing here. Okay, so then we create an agent. It says create React agent. This is not the same React as web devs know. React here means refine and action. I think that's what it stands for. So we define LLM, the tools, and the memory, which is checkpoint saver, which is how it like keeps context of what is being talked about. Now, this is the most important part of this. If you have been following the LLM stuff that we know, you may remember that we used to have code like this, chain.invoke. But basically, in order to call the agent, all we have to do is do agent.invoke, agent we just created, and then pass it the message that we want to send. So this is a human message. This is something that we are prompting the agent. And we can say something like, what is the walk score and weather of Salesforce Park in New York? Now I'm talking about walk score here, but let's keep the example simple. I'm going to say, what is the weather of Salesforce Park in New York? Let's say Manhattan. Okay, because most people may not know what Salesforce Park is. And then I'm going to say, what about Seattle? Okay, what about downtown Seattle? So what I'm doing is I'm providing a message to the user and I'm saying, what is the weather of Manhattan in New York? Now there is no way that the agent would have access to this information through its LLM, through that static data that it has been trained on. And basically what the agent now figures out is that this is something that it doesn't have access to. So it's going to use one of the tools that we provided, which is the Tavily search, which is just Google search, like just web search. So it's able to look that up by itself. This is so cool because we don't even have to do anything. We're just asking a message, okay? And then we're just going to console log so we have this agent.invoke, we pass the message and we give it a thread ID. This is how it remembers which like context it's going to be part of. And then all we do is we just log the message that it gives back. So we invoked it and now we're going to log it. And then in the next step, which actually let's remove this, but I'm just gonna log what this says. I think it's npx tsx agent.ts. Okay, so now when I console log this, if it runs on me. Okay, so now if you see this, I don't know if you can see this well, but here it says the current weather in Manhattan, New York is as follows. Temperature is this, condition is overcast, humidity is this, this. And for more detailed information, you can visit the weather in this, and it tells you like this is what it looked up to find information. And this is amazing because now I'm able to get like real-time data of Manhattan without having to rely on whether or not my LLM was trained on it. Super cool. And why we're talking about this is because we have been building a real estate app, right? So what is the see ya, Homer. Hey Anjali, happy Holi to you too. Okay, I'm gonna pause here and see if there's any questions because I've been talking for a minute. Let me know if you have any questions. What is thread ID? You can forget about thread ID for now because this thread ID is being used in the following message. And basically this lets the LLM know that, or like the agent know that this message and the next message is kind of part of the same chain. So in the next message, if you see, we'll ask it like, what about downtown Seattle, right? So we actually didn't ask it like a question. We didn't say like, what is the weather of downtown Seattle? We're just saying, what about downtown Seattle? So the agent needs to have context of what was asked previously. And that's where this thread ID is helpful. So that's what that is. So now I'll show you, like when I log this, it'll know like what are we talking about downtown Seattle. So now if I log this, so it says current weather in Manhattan is this, and now it's still thinking, and then it says the current weather in downtown Seattle is as follows. So it's able to use that thread ID to remember what is the context of the previous information. And why this is cool is, look what happens. So now I say I'm gonna find like what is the walk score of Empire State Building in New York. And why I'm asking this is, imagine that I'm building a kind of like a tourist app, and I'm saying like, here are some places where you can just like take the transit or take the subway. So I'm asking it, what is the walk score of Empire State Building in New York? And now I'm going to give it something from I'm going to say, what about Space Needle, which is in Seattle. So now I totally like changed the question, and now if I look this up, let's see if it's able to understand what the context is now. Okay. Okay, so it says that it did not provide a specific walk score of Empire State Building in New York. Would you like me to search for a walk score using a different approach? Which is fine, but it was able to find out the Space Needle in Seattle has a walk score of 95, indicating that it is very walkable and convenient to access on foot. So I changed the question altogether, and now it was able to perform a new search using the new question that I asked, and also remembers the context of another thing that I followed, right? Now, okay, I'm going to pause here to see if there is another question. But great question, Akash Gupta. Easy peasy, I know, right? Okay, I have my app running now, and I am actually gonna get my local host running as well. What I forgot about this app is that it needs a bunch of servers to run. So I'm gonna go ahead and start those. Okay, so it is, and I forgot them. Sorry, it wasn't a readme. How many of you were around when we built this app? When we built this real estate app? If you were around, tell me you were here. You were. I remember you, Akash. npx nodemon server.js. Azimuddin was there. I remember you. Okay, and then I need to run npm run dev. Is that all? Is everybody else new? So you haven't been around when we built the learning AI app, like this real estate search app? Damn, that's awesome. So many new people. Well, first of all, welcome, folks. Thank you so much for joining this YouTube channel. I had no idea there were so many first time viewers. So, because you are new here, I might as well introduce myself like an hour, 15 minutes into the stream. But hi, everyone. I'm Shruti Kapoor. I have been in this industry for 11 years now. I've been building React apps, doing a lot of front end stuff, back end stuff, now building AI apps. I worked at companies like PayPal and Slack, and now I am teaching you how to build AI apps. You can find React stuff on my YouTube channel, you can find AI stuff on my YouTube channel. I also host really amazing people from the community on my YouTube channel and share their struggles and their successes and the moments when they felt like a failure, because it may seem like everybody is doing amazing and everybody is having the best of the days, but honestly, the number of days that people have had that have questioned them whether or not they belong in this industry is just crazy. And we don't think about that when we ourselves face those struggles. So, just remembering that everybody else has also gone through the same struggles that we are going through right now, and all we're going to do is just hang on, believe in ourselves, and just keep going. I think that messaging helps a lot, especially me. And hearing all these people's stories helps me a lot. So I host fireside chats as well on this channel. I have an amazing chat coming next week with Tanner Lindsley from Tanstack, and you do not want to miss that chat. It was such a beautiful journey of his that I was lucky enough to hear from him firsthand. And he's such an amazing person. He's incredibly smart, but one of the biggest lessons that he gave in this fireside chat is to um, keep building. And I think it is such a simple message, but just remembering that people have come to these heights of successes because they just kept building and did not take no for an answer when they faced a struggle. Not just building, but also improving and finding out issues with the stuff that you're doing and finding solutions for that. That is how he made Tanstack Router. You don't want to miss that chat. It's an amazing chat. It's coming out next week, but you can find all of that stuff on my YouTube channel. But in these live streams, we have been building an AI app, namely this AI app, where we are building a real estate app to help people find houses and apartments without them having to write like 2000, like without having them having to write like 20 different filters in a real estate app, which honestly is so hard to find houses. But what you could do is something like, you could type in the field, I'm looking for a 4-bedroom house in Seattle in the range of like 1 million to 4 million. Actually, let's give it like a wide range. I'm gonna say 600. I want to see what it actually generates. 600, right? Okay, so now I just typed an English language sentence and it was able to look up properties based on the English language sentence that I gave, right? And the way it's able to do that is because we have this connected to a real estate API, namely Zillow API in this case. And we are using AI to parse that English language text into JSON, through which we are able to generate that list of properties that comes back from Zillow. Now, something cool about this is you can hit like or dislike, and you can tell the app that these are properties that you would like to see more of. And now what we're doing today is being able to take this property and understand users. Oh, look at that. We also made this. This is a property detail page. Oh, we need to build this carousel app. I haven't had a chance to build it. But if anybody wants to contribute to this repo, please feel free to do so. I would love some help because there is a lot to do in this and I don't have that much time. But anyways, you could like click a like button or dislike button, and based on that, we'll recommend you some properties But also that'll help us also generate similar properties to your interest. And the reason why we're building this agent is because I would like to be able to say, find me an apartment in downtown Seattle in the price range of 300,000. What is that? To 1 million, with proximity to restaurants. I want to be able to say that, right? I want to just in English language describe places that are close to downtown. And the properties that it's showing right now are actually not very close to downtown because it doesn't understand that right now. So we're going to take this English language text, find out what does proximity to downtown means, use Tavily to get addresses that are within that range, within that radius range, but also fall in the price range that the user has mentioned using AI. That's what we're building. We're building a better real estate app. So basically what I need to do at this point in my agent.ts is I have, for example, this property. I'm going to click on this property and I'm going to copy this address, and then I'm going to say what is the walk score of this address in Seattle. In Seattle, right? And I actually don't need the next message. So I'm going to say what is the walk score, but also I'm going to say what is the proximity to restaurants. Now I've never done this search before, so I don't know what it's going to give me back, but let's see what it says of this property. Okay, so if I say that and then I run this in my console, I think I have this running somewhere here. No, let's create a new console. And I'm going to run this here, npx. Okay, so it says this address has a walk score of 97, which means it is a walker's paradise, which is awesome. And actually, let's test this. Where is this in downtown Seattle? So that means this is one of the properties that would be awesome for this search. And actually, it is right. Like, this is pretty close to downtown and it's very close to Space Needle. So it is a walker's paradise. Okay, so it says, I don't understand the proximity to restaurants of this address, which means we have to change our prompt. Let's find this out. How many restaurants are close to this property? And what cuisine? Cuisine, right? Let's see if it understands that. And again, I'm just doing web search at this point, okay? So it says we know the walk score, which is this. It's a walker's paradise. Okay, it says there are several restaurants near this address. Some of the top restaurants near this location include Petra Bistro, this Vaughn's, El Guacho, blah, 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 blah. These restaurants offer a variety of cuisines ranging from Mediterranean to American and Thai, which means that if I had like a person who was looking for an apartment in a place that is close to downtown, that is close to like commute and is like a walker's paradise, but also has proximity to restaurants, this would be an amazing property for them, right? So that means I could display something like 5 stars, which is, I feel like you would like this property a lot. It's kind of similar to what Netflix does, where it says like, we think you will love this. So we could do something like that. We think you'll love this apartment, and then it shows you that apartment. And the reason we say that is because it has great walkability score and it has some of the best restaurants. That is how we can create a better real estate app. And tomorrow, this is where we're going to pick up on. We are already able to create a walkability score and a proximity to restaurants, right? So tomorrow we're going to pick this up from here and we're going to integrate in our app so that instead of manually typing like agent.ts, our app is able to call the agent. We're going to figure out how we're going to do that. Now, just to make sure that my agent is not hallucinating, I'm actually going to find an address in a suburb, place that I know is not a walker's paradise. I don't know. I'm going to find an address in here. If somebody lives here, just don't hate me. I don't know. I'm going to find like this address maybe, right? Let's say that this is the address. I'm going to copy this over and I'm going to say, what is the walk score of this? Let's just find out if it's actually hallucinating or giving me right results. Washington 98036. Okay. Okay, so it says that there the walk scorer doesn't know. If you would like, I can attempt to find the walk score from another source, which basically means that the walk score is not great. Now, this is an error case that we have to watch out for. But there are several restaurants here. Look at this. The closest one it found was actually, like some of the restaurants it found is actually in Linwood, which is pretty far. So what we can do is, how many restaurants are close to this property within a 1 mile radius, and which cuisines? Let's try again, because I don't want it finding properties that are like 10 miles away from this address. Oh, apparently this place is pretty close to Linwood. Is that true? 1 mile radius. Oh yeah, Briar is like really close. Okay, let's go farther. I don't know. Let's go here. Let's go like really north. Okay, this address. Marysville. Copy address. Okay. Let's try this again. All right, so this is cool. So it says the walk score of this place is not available in the search results. However, you can search the walk score of a nearby address, which is 0.64. You know what that means? It's not walkable. We just do iterations on the agent because we cannot give prompt to agent in the middle of chat. A little confused. Okay, this is a great question. So basically the question is, how do we iterate on the kind of like this that's given to it? Right now we're figuring out the prompt that we're going to send to agent. Agent actually needs a prompt, right? It needs to know what to search for. So that's what we're kind of doing. We're doing a little bit of prompt engineering here. Because we cannot give prompt to agent in the middle of chat. So what you can do typically in a not in this app but typically with agents is you can have an human intervention, and that is why this also says human message. We can typically have human intervention in which like the agent waits for us to write something. It could be something like providing feedback. It could be something like asking a question. In this case, it's actually waiting for us to ask a question. We're just figuring out what language works best for the search that we want to do. But what we're going to do is instead of us providing this prompt, it's actually going to figure that out from the app. And this is the prompt that we're going to send through the app. So we're going to send what is this walk score of the address that the user likes. And then we're going to say how many restaurants are close to this property within a 1 mile radius. Okay, let's actually do 0.5. How many well-rated restaurants? So right now we're just refining what prompt we're going to send to the agent. Okay, it doesn't understand well-rated. Let's try 4-star or higher restaurants. I'm trying to find good restaurants close to a place, not just any random restaurant. Okay, it says there is a 4-star or higher rated restaurants near this location, which means there isn't a lot. So that basically gives us an idea of how to prompt the agent, how to get information out of it. What are some edge cases to watch out for? For example, it could say something like the specific Vox code is not found. And if the Vox code is something that is a really low score, like 0.47 or something, that means that it's not a very walkable place. So it won't be good fit for somebody who's looking for apartment in downtown, right? So this way we can kind of rate our properties and give them properties that we think they'll love, and filter out properties that we know are not going to match their search results, their preferences. So that is how to interact with an agent and how to build an agent in LangGraph. Now, this is a good point to stop today. Tomorrow, we're going to pick this up, and instead of manually running this through NPX TSX Agent AS, we're going to integrate this within our app so that when we create a list of properties within the range of within the price range that the user has given us, we rank them by how well we think they'll like them, similar to how Netflix does it. I'm going to pause here to see if there's any questions before we end today's stream. Okay, so there's a great question here, which is, let's say I'm building Devin and I'm telling it to give me a code for a game, and it hallucinates, so I need to again tell her to give me code until it gives me correct code. So I think one of the things that this agent would need is to know what is a correct code. There are a few ways to do this. You could have human intervention, in which it gives you the code and you say this is correct or incorrect. So you literally rate. Not an ideal solution. So other things you could do is use tools. So you could say something like, here are test cases, here are a list of test cases. And in this case, your tool would just be literally like a suite of test cases, end-to-end cases or unit tests, that you say, these are the test cases that I'm trying to run against this code. If the test cases fail, build the code again for me. And in that case, you have a really great way of knowing what is correct code versus not. So in order for the agent to know and get feedback from the user, or get feedback on its actions and refine the results, it needs to know what is correct. And you have to define that. And you can do that through tools, or you can do it through human intervention, which is you tell it, like give it a rating. But that was a great question. What other questions are there? Okay, I have a end of the stream question for you. I'm gonna put it in YouTube again. So start a poll. So if you're watching this anywhere else, please come down to YouTube so you can post this. All right. Okay, here is a pop quiz for you. It's super easy, nothing complicated, but come on down to YouTube to vote on this. Question: an agent can look up web search results using tools. True, false, or what is an agent? So let me know what you think. I'm starting to see the votes come in. Awesome. Feel free to pick what is an agent as well if you're new to this or you have just joined. No problem at all. So an agent can look up web search results using tools. Is that true, false, or you're new to this and what is an agent? Okay, meanwhile, I'm going to commit this code. Refining agent. Okay, 3 people have voted so far. I want at least 10 votes before I can answer the question. So come on down to YouTube if you are watching this on anywhere except YouTube. Come on down to YouTube and vote on this. I would love to know, what do you think? An agent can look up web search results using tools, or an agent can do like internet search or web search using tools? True, false, or you're new to this and you don't know what is an agent, which is also fine. Are you planning to switch the code base to TypeScript? Yes, I am. I just haven't had the time to. Also, I would love help on this. If you want to convert a JavaScript code base to a TypeScript code base, please feel free. Okay, we got 4 votes. I know there's only 6 more people that I need before I can give this answer away. And I know 6 people can vote on this. Let's go. Let's go. We can do this. Time to pump up the music. Okay, I see that most people are writing true. An agent can look up web search results using tools. So to remind you, what is a tool? Actually, that should have been a question. What is a tool? Tool is a function, an API, a database request, or a database, or even the ability to look up something using web search, which we have been doing through Tavily in our case, to find out more information about a prompt. Oh, background music is too. Sorry. I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, I will repeat what I said. So, the question is, an agent can look up web search results using tools. And to remind you, what is a tool? Tool is any function that gives an agent access to more information. It could be database, it could be API, it could be even a web search that the agent can use to perform extra calculations, extra functions, find out more information. It could be specific data for performing an action. So, for example, giving it access to a specific database in the case of library or library search, and that can be used, and a tool can be used to by an agent to look up web search results. So it can be used for the agent to find out any information that it doesn't have in its LLM. And using LangGraph, we were able to see that even without us having to actually explicitly telling the agent that if you don't have this information within your LLM, find it out outside, find out on the web using this tool, it was totally able to do that because an agent is smart enough to understand what data it has access to and what data it needs to look up on the internet, which is awesome because it means less coding for us and more stuff that we can get out of an agent without having to explicitly define it, which makes it awesome and super powerful. So today, a recap of what we did was we figured out how to create an agent using LangGraph. We installed LangGraph in our app. We set up LangGraph in our app by creating, I'm gonna do a recap. So here's what we did. We set up an agent in our code base by setting up some tools. This is the tool that we used, Tavily search results, and this is what was used to get it web information. So to answer your question, an agent can look up web search results using tools. The answer is true, it can. So here we are using Tavily to look up the internet, or like to look up on the web, and it figures out whatever information it doesn't have. It does a job of like automatically figuring it out by calling the tool. And in order to create the agent, we'll use this function that LangChain gives us, LangGraph gives us, which is create React agent. We provided an LLM, we provided some tools, and then it also provided memory. Memory is how it knows what is in context, so that, for example, here we can call the agent and then we ask it a question. What is the walk score of this particular address? And then we figure out, like we give it a thread ID, which is how we are able to assign context and use that context later on when we ask it another question, which is how many 4-star or high restaurants are close to this property within a 0.5-mile radius and which cuisines. So if you notice here, we didn't actually give it what is the address of this property. It knows that because it has access to the same context, which is thread ID. Okay, I see that somebody has voted what is an agent, which is great because I love that you're asking this question. What is an agent? Agent is basically an autonomously running an LLM that can perform autonomous actions based on at a goal that is given to you. So one of the examples that I gave in the beginning of the stream is, let's say that you go to a library and you are somebody who likes fiction books and you have, let's say, 30 days to finish a book and you have 1 hour a day. So you have all these constraints, but your goal is to find a book that works in your constraints. So you tell the librarian, hey, I'm looking for a fiction book and it should be appropriate for somebody in my age group and it should be able to be completed in like 30 days. So the librarian does the job of figuring out what is a book that you may like by maybe looking up on the internet, by finding out the books that are available in the library that day, and also figuring out which of these books can be finished within 30 days. So librarian here is the agent. She's autonomously taking actions to solve your particular goal, which is finding a fiction book that can be completed in 30 days. So that is an agent. Okay, before I go, I want to give a huge shout out to Convex for supporting this live stream and for sponsoring this live stream. Folks, tomorrow we're gonna go ahead and integrate this agent within our app so that we don't have to manually pass it like these human messages, and it's able to figure that out from the app that we've built, which is right here. So when it creates this app, this property, it shows us that, oh, we think you will love this property based on this, based on the search that the user has done. We're gonna do that tomorrow. And if you like this stream, or if you like this live stream, tell me in the comments that you like it. How would I know if you don't tell me? But tell me in the comments that you like streams like this, so I can keep continue to make more of these. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you tomorrow, same time, 9:30 p.m. PST. Don't forget to keep learning. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.